So right as we were starting to get to the epic part, as I start describing the scene of dragons and fire and warfare, I looked at my player's eyes and I saw I made a huge mistake. Welcome back, Storyteller. My name is Khalil Robertson, and I'm here to help you craft your first or your 100th story. Now, this video is going to be talking about a story in which, because I didn't pace something well, or my campaign well this Sunday, I really didn't get that great epic scene that I had planned like a whole 2 weeks on. So let's walk to it. What I had planned for this Sunday to have happen was basically the party is inside this huge Dragon War thing, and like this is a time where I was gonna put the full Dragon Wars in like its epic bang and beginning, and where they'd be driving or sailing by on their airship in the Dragon Domain, and they'd like see this epic climactic war between the two dragon factions happening, and then they'd be sucked in for a small port in which a dragon would land on their ship, turn into a humanoid, and then would fight another dragon. As there's another dragon that's off the ship, that's in Dragonoid form, that's like breathing fire, and they have to use their crew in order to deal with that. And then like they have all these other different moving parts. Like I just had this really epic battle scene of different moving parts for the players to have to interact with in order to survive and thrive in this battle. So here's why it didn't work. Pacing. This is something that I honestly just like have been taking for granted for a very long time, and this Sunday is when it really smacked me in the face on how important it is. So what I mean by pacing, so when I say pacing, I mean how much you spread around your encounters and types of encounters, and how fast or slow you go in moving from one story beat to another story beat. So for instance, through this Dragon Wars campaign, my pacing was fast, and literally every single session they were having some kind of big fight because they're completing a chapter in one session, almost like a one-shot constantly, and they basically had no time just to sit down, relax, and just like live in their characters for a moment, which that's the main reason why my epic encounter didn't work out as well, because yes, it was epic, yes, it was cool, but they had already just had like 4 different huge fights in the previous 4 sessions, so they were just kind of a little numb to it. Remember what I always say, always have that perfect balance between fluff and crunch. So because of my pacing wasn't well and wasn't good, I basically lost the allure and flair of that epic encounter. So I want to help you guys not make that same mistake. So when you do your pacing, figure it out sort of like in this formula, I should say. So if you're having a big fight, you should at least have 2 to 3 sessions of either smaller fighting or no fighting, and just more role playing. Why? Well, if you constantly bombard your players, unless there are these tactical war gamers, unless they are that type, then ignore my suggestion. But if you have players who are kind of like casual players, or like to role play, or just haven't really found their style, by doing this, you allow your players to get a little bit of reprieve, so then they can spend a little more time getting to know the world that you make and the story that you have crafted. And as they're sitting there taking a nice slow time, a nice easy time in order to get used to it, when you hit them with that big battle encounter, it'll feel like they deserved it and they earned it. Why? Because they've been going through all these slower story beats, like figuring things out, trying to grab clues and all that stuff, and now that it's finally there, it's like, yes, we've been waiting for it. And now they're willing to sit down for 6 hours just fighting because it had a whole 18 hours leading up to this point. It's all about building that climax. So when you're pacing, always, or never, I should say, put one huge battle right after the other, unless you already had a couple sessions beforehand of just slower story building elements that leads them up into this big battle. I hope you enjoyed the content that I prescribed for you today. If you really liked it, please sneak attack that like button down below. And if you really liked it, please feel free to subscribe, as I post new content every single Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time at night. And if you want to join another group of amazing storytellers, pop on my Discord and I'll link that down below. I hope you enjoyed, and in a world without fantasy, sometimes we need a little Dungeons and Dragons.